Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to this, your final reading of 2023. Can you believe we are actually at the end of yet another year? Holy cow. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on the link. And for those of you returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my little channel. For those of you who are new here, I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. And if it ends up being kind of a disaster and my lighting is all wrong and I trip over my words, oh well, it's all part of the experience. Okay, Aquarius, before I get started with your reading, I do have a really quick announcement. Right now is my favorite time of the year because every year at this time, I offer my one and only annual special. This is a 13 card reading special. It is $90 Canadian. It does not matter where you are from in the world. It's $90 Canadian. So if you're from the US, the UK, the EU, this is a really fantastic deal. My normal rates are $100 for 45 minutes. This is $90 for 1 hour, one-on-one with me, where I will pull 13 cards, giving you an overview for 2024, seeing what each month has in store for you, as well as an anchor card pulling the whole reading all together. If you are interested in booking this reading with me, contact details in the description below. Okay, let's get started. Aquarius, the last time I did a reading for you for the time frame from December 1st through December 15th, the cards indicated that you were doing deep Hierophant type work, deep work where you were looking at the various institutions that have influenced you and your life basically since you were born. And you were determining what serves your highest good, what's no longer serving you. You were having a really deep dive into that in order to bring more happiness as well as more abundance to you moving out through the end of 2023 and into 2024. So without any further ado, let's get started and let's see what the cards are saying for you for the remainder of 2023, the last two and a half weeks of December. Let's see what's coming up for you. All right. One card out. It flipped out upside down, so I can't start reading it yet. All right. What do we have? Okay, we have the Four of Autumn, also known as the Four of Pentacles. This is the card that I like to refer to as my miser card. It is also the coveting card. So this is the card, Aquarius, wherein, first of all, it asks you to make sure that you're balancing your budget at this time. Make sure you don't have more money going out than what you have coming in. This means moving into the holidays at the end of this month. Make sure that you are not overindulging. We'll leave that there. Like I said, and I've said before in my videos, I'm not a certified financial advisor. I'm not allowed to give you legal financial advice. However, this is common sense advice. Don't spend more than what you have. We'll leave it at that. So this card is also the card, as I mentioned, of coveting. This is the card of you, Aquarius, looking over the fence and thinking that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. It probably isn't, but you know. So the reason I call this my coveting card is because if you notice, both of the fairies on this card, this is from the Fairy Tarot, and both of the fairies on this card are looking at each other longingly. The reason they're looking at each other longingly is this person is clearly a servant to this one. This one is looking at the princess with longing in their eyes. They want what the princess has, not realizing that what comes with being a princess is lack of freedom, the necessity to look 100% of the time, to always be dolled up and smile even when you don't want to never show any emotions, etc. But this person doesn't see that. They just see all the beautiful clothing and the treatment that this person receives. This person is looking longingly at this one, thinking, I would love this life because then I could be free and I no longer have to dress like this all the time and I no longer have to smile at people I don't like. But this person doesn't realize that this person is barely scraping by and might go to bed hungry tonight. Okay. The grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence, Aquarius. Sometimes we need to look in the mirror, and sometimes we need to recognize, and not just recognize, but also acknowledge through gratitude what we have, rather than coveting what other people have. Let's move into what you are focusing on. What are the Aquarians focusing on for the latter half of December? Where are the Aquarians putting their attentions? Oh, it looks like we're going to have a whole pile of cards that are going to fall out, and then I will shuffle up that. Unless, of course, that doesn't happen. But I mean, this is quite the mess for what you are focusing on. Oh, I caught them before they went on the floor. That's always a good thing. All right, let's finish shuffling the deck. All right, so exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. And we have a pile of cards for what you're focusing on. Now, typically when this happens, I mix up the smaller portion of the deck in order to narrow things down a little bit. Otherwise, the reading can become just a little bit overwhelming. That one did land on the floor. We're going to go 3 more times. 1, anything else? 2, and 3. And we did get 3 cards as well. Perfect. Okay. So we have 3 cards that have come out for you. All 3 cards are from the suit of cups or the suit of water. Okay, we have the 5 of cups or 5 of water, the 2 of cups, and the ace. So let's start with the first card that jumped out for you, Aquarius, and that is the 5 of cups. This is the card called Clinging to the Past from this particular deck. Now, in the traditional tarot or the more common tarot, the Rider-Waite, the picture on the card for the 5 of cups shows a character who has 3 cups of spilled liquid in front of him, and he is mourning the loss of those cups. He's mourning the loss of something that was clearly in his past because it's spilled, it's done, it's over with. While not realizing that right behind him, right behind the character on the card, there are 2 more cups that are filled to brimming, which means that there's opportunities that the character on the card is not seeing because they are too busy clinging to the past, clinging to something that has happened, it's done, it's finished, it's time to let go of it. So that is this particular card. So Aquarius, this is one of the things that you are working on as you move through the last part of December. And given that last month, or sorry, at the beginning of this month, the last reading that I did for you, you were working on Hierophant things. And Hierophant items are things like looking at the way our families influenced us, family traditions, educational traditions, religious traditions, and seeing what resonates for us and what no longer resonates for us. And so it's not surprising that as we begin to see that certain traditions no longer serve our highest good, we know we need to let go of them, but there's still that desire to hold on to them, to kind of covet them, covet what other people have in their traditions and so on, as well as clinging to the past, right? Traditions, some traditions die hard and they're hard to give up. So that's one of your pieces that you're working on for the latter half of December. You have this friendliness card here. Now, the friendliness card is the coming together of 2 people. It's the forming of a partnership. Not necessarily in a romantic sense, although it may be, but in a friendship or business partnership sense. That's why we have the friendliness card represented here. We also have two trees here. One has yellow leaves and one has red leaves, indicating that they are very different species. And yet, we have that saying, as above, so below. But we know and have learned about trees that when they are in close proximity to each other like this, their roots communicate. Even if they are members of a different species, they still communicate and they share resources, including the water and the nutrients from the soil. So this is a card for you, Aquarius, saying that one of the things that you're focusing on moving into the latter half of December and closing out the year is friendliness, recognizing the differences as well as the same qualities that we all have and that we all share. This card may also indicate a new partnership forming for you. And as I mentioned, it's not the lover's card, so it's not tilted towards romance. It's more tilted towards two people coming together for the purposes of improving each other's lives. That may be romantic, that may be a business partnership, or it may be a new friendship and someone that you can rely on. But this card is indicating, keep your eyes open for a new relationship or a new dynamic in an existing relationship where you have the ability to rely upon each other more. And finally, you have the Ace of Cups. Going with the flow. The Ace of Cups is about new beginnings. So it's beautiful that you have the Ace of Cups right next to this Two of Cups card, because it is indicating a new relationship, a new emotional connection with someone is coming up for you in the latter half of December, Aquarius. Let's take a look at what is challenging you. And very clearly, I saw this deck come out again, the Osho Zen. So let's have a look at your challenges and difficult influences for the last 2 or 2.5 weeks here. Challenges, difficult influences for Aquarius. 2 cards jumped right out. Okay, let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, we have the Six of Rainbows. This card corresponds to the Six of Pentacles. Now, with the Osho Zen, they do not always have the exact same meaning as the Rider-Waite, for example, from the same suit. And in this particular case, they don't. So in this case, we have the Compromise card. Have we heard that somewhere before in your reading, Aquarius? Uh-oh. The Four of Autumn, also Pentacles. This card is more a card of coveting rather than compromise. But when we covet what someone else wants, sometimes we have to compromise what we have in order to be able to obtain what they want. And then we realize that's not what we really want. Just saying. So the compromise card coming up for you, Aquarius, in your difficult influences is about you needing to compromise something in order to be able to change and move out of clinging to the past. It is also about, coveting what somebody else has and realizing grass ain't always greener on the other side of the fence. And the other card that you have is yet another pentacle. And this would be the Page of Rainbows, Page of Pentacles. This is the card of slowing down. At this time of the year, an Aquarius slowing down as we move into the holidays? Probably not. Probably not. And that's probably why this is coming up in your difficult influences, Aquarius, because we all know that most Aquariuses have a tendency to be rather driven, especially at certain times of the year, and moving out of one sort of season into the next season, especially with the solstice coming up, where we move from autumn into winter in the northern hemisphere. Aquarians are not likely to be slowing down, and yet this card is coming up in your difficult influences and challenges, indicating this is exactly what you need to do. Slow down, pay attention to everything that's going on around you, and remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Slow and steady wins the race. I could go on and on with all the different sayings, but essentially that's what this card is saying to you, Aquarius. Let's move into messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time. Okay. I do believe that there is at least one more card in here for you. In my mind's eye, I could see at least two cards for you, and we just have one that has come out. So let's go through. Yeah. Okay. All right. See, I knew there was more than one card, but that's kind of, well, that's kind of a lot of cards for you. All right, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, I'm trying to put these into the order in which they fell out of the deck. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 8 messages here that the universe would like you to hear right now. Inspire others. I'm just going to turn this light off for a moment so that that will come into focus. Inspire others, Aquarius, at this time. Be yourself. An Aquarian not being themselves. Do we know any Aquarians that do that? Practice moderation. Practice moderation moving into the holidays. And right next to practice moderation, we have understand your body. What is this telling me, Aquarius? Well, what this is telling me, Aquarius, is going through the holidays. Now, I am not a certified medical practitioner. I am not allowed to give formal medical advice. What I am giving you is generally accepted advice and common sense at this point in time. Moving into the holidays, you have a practice moderation card right next to understand your body. This is an indication that for this holiday season anyway, Aquarius, do not be overindulging. You will likely regret it. That means overindulging both in the bevies that are available at this time of the year, as well as all of that sweet, sumptuous, rich food. And that may also explain why you have the slowing down card in your difficult influences, because when we slow down, we have the opportunity to be more conscious in our choices and decisions. And with these two cards coming out together, the practice moderation and understand your body, you do have to be making very conscious decisions this season with regards to your body and your health. Abundance is your right. No kidding, but I think that you needed to hear that, Aquarius. You needed that reassurance that abundance is in fact your right. Like attracts like. So do opposites. And finally, worry is a wasted emotion. Do we have another card in your reading already, Aquarius, that this card is reinforcing? Yes, we do. The clinging to the past, this 5 of Cups that was one of the first cards that I read for you, is a card of worry, right? If you're sitting there crying over spilled milk, crying over these 3 glasses that have tipped over, you're not going to be able to see the fruitful abundance that's directly behind you, but you're busy worrying. Okay, worry is a wasted emotion. Really good messages for you to hear. Let's take a look at what is coming up in your unexpected. Unexpected for Aquarius. Anything else unexpected for Aquarius? I guess not. All right, what do we have here? We have the High Priestess for you. Yes, I love it when that card comes out. Now, for those of you who have watched the video so far and don't realize it yet, I am an Aquarius as well. I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart. And so that's one of the reasons why I get a little bit more animated when I do the Aquarius reading than when I do some of the other zodiac signs. So full disclosure, the High Priestess coming out for you as your unexpected. The High Priestess is the card of intuition. She is the intuitive goddess of the entire tarot deck. And she is calling upon you, Aquarius, to make sure that you're paying attention to your dreams, the stars, intuitive messages, that gut feeling that you get. Whether you feel that little twinge in your chest, in your heart center, or whether you feel it in your solar plexus, or whether it's a twinge in a tooth, whatever you feel coming through the latter half of December, Aquarius, this card is saying, sit up and pay attention, because the universe, the angels, the interdimensional beings, the ancestors, the animals, they are all trying to get your attention right now with this High Priestess coming in. The other thing that the High Priestess may indicate for some of you, and this is more intuitive, and so it doesn't apply to all of the Aquarians out there, but it does apply to a good number of Aquarians. And that is, I'm really sensing that with the growth that you've had, with the Hierophant work that you've done, with the realization that, worrying about the past, worrying about spilled milk, with your realization that coveting what other people have, it's not serving your highest good. The traditions of yesterday are no longer serving you. And as you're realizing this and you are growing, you are also creating new traditions for yourself. You're creating new traditions for your family and so on. And at some point in time, you are going to be asked to share those. And that's going to put you in the position of being a mentor to others, Aquarius. And I'm sensing that that is going to begin to come up for you. This becoming a role model for others is going to come up for you more and more moving into 2024. So just keep that in mind. What I'm picking up is that for a very, very small minority of you, by the end of December, you're going to be picking up on those mentor vibes that are coming in from other people. The other people are going to start to look to you, Aquarius, to be a mentor. But for the vast majority of you, it's something that's going to be unfolding into the first 6 weeks to 2 months of 2024, where you're going to kind of go, yeah, I'm kind of feeling this need to mentor someone else, to step up and step into that role. I'm feeling confident. I have finally put my imposter syndrome to bed, and it's not allowed to come up and rear its ugly head anymore, because I am powerful. I've done my Hierophant work and I'm ready to step forward. And I feel like that's how a lot of the Aquarians are feeling right now, and they're ready to step up and step in. So by all means, please take advantage of really tapping into your intuition as you move through the latter half of December, but also be on the lookout for that sense, or for a person to step up and even, outwardly ask you to be a mentor for them. All right, let's pull cards for your final general overall outcome. I was not expecting to be called to this deck. I do think that I'll be pulling a clarifying card for this one, but there is something from this deck that wants to come out and speak to you, Aquarius, because the call to this deck was very strong. And there's 2 cards out, so let's see what they are in just a moment. Finish shuffling the deck here. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, so moving into your final overall outcome for the end of December, you have the sequoia tree, but it did come up in the reversed. This tree is about balance. So this is an indication that you may not be feeling as balanced as you could be or should be. I want to point out as well that in your focus for the latter half of December, you had two trees represented on this card. This is the friendliness card. And you again have trees represented here. And this tree here is about balance. This may indicate that you are not as grounded as you need to be in your choices. Now, I'm not talking about sitting in meditation and visualizing your energy going into Mother Earth and Mother Earth's energy coming into you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being grounded and assured in your decisions and choices at this time. This is saying that you may be waffling and going back and forth in your decisions. But the card that came out right next to this card is this one. It's the intensity card. It's the fire card. Why is this important? Because Aquarius, once you make your decision and your choice as to which direction you're going to go, once you find your inner balance and you really know what you want, you are going to go forth into 2024 with such intensity. It's going to be like you are on fire. There is something that you desire in 2024, Aquarius, and nothing is going to get in your way. The imposter syndrome that you started 2023 with is gone. You have burned it up and out. The traditions from some of the institutions with that Hierophant work that you did several times throughout 2023, burned up, out the door, time for you to move on. This is a super, super powerful card for you to end off as your final overall card for 2023. Absolutely beautiful, Aquarius. So with that, I am going to leave off your reading. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. And I also want to remind you, if you do want the 13 card reading, please check the link in the description below. Take care, everyone.